Well, good evening again, and here we are, Facebook Live. It's on a Wednesday night, rather than a Thursday this week. And last week I did say it was going to be on a Wednesday night, which I got it a bit wrong. I said it was going to be quiz night this week, but it's not quiz night this week. Quiz night is next week. But I can't do it tomorrow night, as it's my lovely daughter Lily's 18th birthday tomorrow, so we're celebrating her birthday the best we can in the circumstances. I had this dream of sort of on her 18th birthday, taking her for a drink in our own pub, in the Billericay Micropub, but that's going to have to wait a lot longer. But we'll still have a good birthday, I am sure. So the beer for tonight is Billericay Zeppelin. Now, this is a beer I've chosen that tonight because it's one that perhaps is really popular in the pub, and we're just sort of thinking about the pub sort of reopening. It's still a way off yet, but at least we've got a proposed date for that. So it's one that's very popular in the pub. It's not perhaps quite so popular takeaway, and it's very popular in the pub. It's what we call our session bitter. So a session bitter, okay, you don't necessarily mean to have a session on it, but it means it's one that people can drink a few pints of it, only being 3.8% ABV. So you can drink a reasonable amount of it without feeling too bad the next day. So that's the idea of it. So I will open that up. So this one, Billericay Zeppelin, it's not one of a bottle conditioned beers, so we don't have to worry about pouring it. It is gluten free as well, so it's a bit of a little bonus for any of you who have any gluten intolerances or know people who've got gluten intolerances. So here it is, pouring nicely there. And you'll see that what we call a session bitter. So we don't use that phrase bitter too much. It doesn't say it on the bottle anywhere, but it is sort of a style of beer that people sort of think of a bit of an old man's beer, but it is the classic British beer, and it is one of the things that is a real one of the signs of a brewer's art, to be able to brew a good bitter and get the balance right. So you see that it's got that sort of we call it pale amber ale there, sort of you can kind of call it brown. I remember when I first started up, people used to say about boring brown beers, but they're definitely not boring. They're full of character, and you see it as a brown. We wouldn't call it a brown ale because brown ale is something different, but you see a brown, reddish, amber sort of colour. And it's one that gives you some flavour and refreshment, being 3.8%. There we go, yeah, it's a bitter, definitely. It's definitely got that bitterness there, and we'll talk a little bit about it as well in a moment. So, it's, first of all, just a little note about the glass. The glass is one I inherited from my dad, my dad's beer glass there. It is, he wasn't a Scot, it's funny, I ended up marrying a Scot, but my dad wasn't a Scot at all, but he used to love this beer glass with the Scotch Piper on there, so it's sort of strange that I end up marrying a Scot. So, and it's the type of beer my dad would have loved, yeah. I remember it, and he'd always drink out of, we'd go to a pub and he'd always drink out of a mug like this, so really a few memories of my dad drinking this. So good. Hi, Dominic. Yeah, hopefully you're looking forward to it tomorrow. So Friday. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so good to see you there. Now, just a few things. So I mentioned that it's Lily's birthday coming up, so we'll have a drink to her. Obviously can't have a drink with her on a birthday in a pub, but we will celebrate it tomorrow night. So just a little bit more about Billericay Zeppelin. We brewed it back quite a few years ago. I think the first time we did it was back 2014. We wanted a session beer. We had the Billericay Dicky already. We had the Billericay Blonde, it's our best bitter. We had the Billericay Blonde, a golden ale. But we realised we needed sort of an everyday best session bitter, 3.8%. And we asked one of the customers, I can't remember who it was who named it, but one of the customers named it, the beer. It was originally called Dead Zeppelin. In tribute to the band Zeppelin, but some people thought it might be in a bit more toward taste when you know the story of the Zeppelin, so we just called it Billericay Zeppelin. So the story of it obviously is that those you know local know this. I've probably told this story before. of during the First World War, a Zeppelin was shot down over Billericay, and the crash sort of the wreckage sort of fell to the ground about a mile from where the brewery is. There was a monument unveiled to it on the 100th anniversary of it going down. And at the time when it crashed, apparently thousands of people travelled all the way from the East End of London just to see this wreckage. It was the first time they'd seen the wreckage of a Zeppelin fallen to the ground. So we named it after that. So there's a big story about that, and I can tell you loads of story about the Zeppelin and the Sowry family. It's a great story. So that's what we named it after. So it looks very dark there, but it's actually quite a pale beer. So probably the curtains behind me are sort of giving it a darker one. If I hold it up to the light here, I can see it's sort of more a pale amber. So it's pale, bitter, and bitter is the flavour that does dominate it. Now, when we brewed it, we just sort of thought a session ale that sort of would be an easy drinking beer that you could drink a few of in the evening. It turned out actually to have much more flavour than we actually expected it to have, so we're really pleased with how it turned out. Now, just talk about the recipe in there, the malt base of there, whereas with most of our beers, the main part is pale ale. We had some Caro malt to give a caramel type flavour. We had crystal malt, which gives that dark, the browny sort of browny reddish sort of amber colour to it, and also gives it sort of a toffee-ish flavour to it. And then we also had some melanoidin malt, which I think I've talked to you about. It gives a nice biscuity flavour to it as well. So you've got 4 different malts in there, and then when we cook, so the hops, it's mostly British hops. The Challenger is the bittering hops, so it gives that nice bitterness to it. And then aroma, we use Whitbread Goldings and a little bit of Cascade as well. So there's a bit of American hops in there as well. But you probably, if you smell the aroma, it's probably quite difficult to pick that up. We don't do any dry hopping with this or anything. They just go in as bittering hops and aroma hops. Okay, so the other reason we're talking about this tonight is we brewed a special version of a Zeppelin last year where we added our community hops to it. So remember last year we got some of our local people, our local customers to grow hops in their garden, and locally grown hops, we added it to a batch of Billericay Zeppelin, and we called that beer Hop Together Now. It was a very popular beer. I mean, it was not just for the idea of the hops, but we only got a small harvest. It'd been the first time we'd grown the hops, and you do tend to get quite a small harvest first time round. And we just put a few of those hops that we got into the fermenter. I mean, it was only probably about a kilo or so of hops in total. And we didn't expect it to make a major difference, but it made an amazing difference. It was a gorgeous beer. It really did add an amazing aroma and flavour to the beer. So, if those of you, well done, and thank you to all of those who did grow hops for us last year. Hopefully those hops will come even better this year, and you'll hopefully have even bumper crop on those. So hopefully we can have more hops added to the beer this year, the community hop beer. And if you didn't grow and you're interested, look on our Facebook page, and there's some details on there of the hop that we're growing. It's Prima Donna hop, and it's a special dwarf hop that's quite easy to grow. And it really does, that's a lovely flavour. So if you are interested in that, contact us, let us know that you're growing them, so we know when it comes to brewing the beer, it's sort of they harvest around about September time, and they we normally harvest them all one day together and bring them into the brewery and add them into the beer. So that's a great hop community hops, hop in part, and then a really truly local beer with local hops. So we want to actually make it so that we've got even more of the hops this year are locally grown ones. Okay, so that's something to look forward to with Hop Together Now. That's what it was last year. I think it's going to be a different name this year. Something we're going to try and work out as we go through the year of what that's going to be. I know there's some ideas been going around already. So the other thing, of course, is that it's been announced today that there is a plan now for reopening the pubs, and there's a date, still quite a way off, of April for us being able to open outside only. Obviously that's not ideal, but it's something we should be able to work with. But let's watch out for some details next month, once we've worked out exactly how we're going to do that, and then you'll be able to book some tables then. I mean, we had people sort of straight away, as soon as the announcement was made, wanting to book some tables. So We just thought we want to get ourselves sorted out first. We've got a new marquee just arrived, so we're hopefully going to have a much better covered area for you to see outside. And that the idea is that marquee will stay up there all the time. We'll have to keep on taking gazebos up and down at the start and end of every day. So we're going to have a nice marquee out the front. So that'll hopefully be a nice and even better area for you to sit and enjoy your beers come April. But as I say, we're still way off there. Things unfortunately can change in the meantime, so we're not going to. We have to take things cautiously, and we particularly obviously look forward to the time when we can actually open inside as well and welcome you all in, but whether it's inside or outside. Okay. Now, obviously, in the meantime, we're still carrying on brewing. We're still carrying on doing our local delivery and our click and collect service. Bagging boxes if you do want draft beer, 5, 9, 18 pint boxes. And beers we've got available in those, we've got obviously the Billericay Zeppelin, we've got the Billericay Dicky, the Billericay Blonde, Rhythm Sticks, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll, Mayflower Gold, Clever Trevor, Rocket Full of Rye, we've got a Vintage Mayflower Gold, we've got Blonde Bombshell, remember we looked at last week, the stronger version of Billericay Blonde, and a dark beer we've got Barista as well. I think that's gone through everything. I don't think I've missed anything out. Yeah, okay. Checking my list, I think everything's there. And we also have a guest beer always every week. Normally quite a hoppy pale or hoppy IPA. We've had Colonel Pale Ale this week. Unfortunately, if you wanted that, you missed the boat. Unfortunately, it sold out so quickly. We will probably, in a couple of weeks' time, have Colonel IPA, which is the stronger version. So really, if you want to get there, watch out for the announcements of that when that's ready. So they always well, I think next week it's going to be Siren Soundwave, which again is another fantastic IPA. So it's great to look forward to that as well. So in bottles, bottles have still got a great sample of bottles. We've got the Zeppelin, the Blonde, the Dicky, Rhythm Stick. That's probably not going to quite be ready. We've just bottled it last week. It probably needs perhaps a few more days conditioning, but it should be by the end of next week ready. We've got Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll. We've got fresh bottles of that available now. Mayflower Gold, fresh bottles of that. Oh, there's the dog. Sorry about her barking. She obviously likes Sex, Drugs and Rock and Roll, making her excited. Mayflower Gold we've got in bottles, plus the vintage version of it. We've got 2 bottles of Blonde Bombshell, and we'll have some more of those coming up in the next few weeks. And we've also got Chapel Street Porter, dark beers, Chapel Street Porter, Billericay Barista, and Chili Porter. Again, I think I've said everything we've got there on bottles. I apologise if I've missed anything, but do watch out and give us a bell if you do want to order any of those. You can drop us an email on sales@billericaybrewing.co.uk. There is a selection on our website, so you can go onto our website and go into our online shop, and you can get selection boxes, 3, 6, 12 bottles. On the 12 bottles, you can get dark only, light only, or total mixture. You can join our beer club. When we had someone rejoined our beer club today, it's a great way of getting beer delivered to your door every month. 6 bottles or 12 bottles delivered to your door every month throughout the year. We do a 3-month subscription, a 6-month subscription, or a whole year subscription. You save a bit of money, obviously, compared to their normal cost, and we'll deliver that to you, or you can collect it from the shop, whichever is most convenient for you. So, also looking forward to other beers we've got on the brew at the moment. In the fermenter, we've got Pilgrim Fathers, which was a very popular black IPA that we brewed last year for the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower sailing. Of course, none of those festivities could take place last year, so hopefully some of them will continue this year, and they will carry on with the special Mayflower beers because of that. And then this week, another Mayflower Gold, Mayflower Pale, a lovely hoppy golden ale, 4.5%. Lovely dry hop with Willamette hops. That's being brewed this week, so that will be available for you soon as well. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Sorry in the background, that's my wife just coming through the door, so she's disturbing us, so don't worry. It's not no one breaking into the house, don't worry. So also next week, remember it's the quiz night on the Thursday night. So again, I'll be doing the Facebook Live on Wednesday as well with yet another beer, and I'll give you any other further news we've got. Then what else we've got the say if you want to join the quiz night, remember to drop us an email. It's a virtual quiz night, obviously. Next Thursday night from about 7 o'clock onwards, and then not this Saturday but the following Saturday the 6th, it's pizza night. So again, those being very popular. Again, look at our website for the details of that as well. So we're all missing you. We hopefully will soon be able to see you at the Micropub, so we look forward to that when we can do. And in the meantime, I'll just say a good cheers to you and good health. Keep safe, keep happy, keep healthy, and look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.